All right, hello everyone. Welcome to TheEndStep.com's set review of Dragon's Maze, third set of the Return to Ravnica block.
Or
Adam,
James.
and let's just jump into it with the monocolored cards. This is a little bit of a weird set in terms of like breakdown, because there's like monocolored cards, multicolored cards, guild cards, split cards, and then artifacts and lands. So
Yeah,
we're basically gonna go monocolored, then multicolored by alphabet.
yeah, alphabetical. We're trying to use like the official Wizards card
Yeah, the
gallery.
card spoiler.
And honestly, the organization isn't that great on the official thing. So yeah, monocolored.
So let's jump right into it. So as you can see on the screen, we have the first card of the set is Boros Mastiff.
Yep.
It's a battalion card. It's very good. Fits in the curve.
Mhm.
Lifelink, which is decent.
Very playable and limited. Easily one of your not first pick creatures, but like when you're adding your creatures into your deck, you can put this guy in pretty early. Like
Yeah, he's right in there with the other 2-drops. Like you just want like this like really a lot of like 2-drops, 2-3 drops in that battalion deck where you can just go a bunch of guys early.
yeah, he's just a bear with a little bit more value, and the value is good.
Yeah, he's essentially a grizzly bear. So
Yep.
he's fine. No standard play. Next up is Hazda Snare Squad.
Yep.
He's alright, I guess. I don't think
Interesting card.
he's 3.
Yeah, I like this guy unlimited for sure. Because he taps whatever you want.
Yeah, he's like a weird like tapper variant. He's like
Yeah.
he's not a tapper all the time.
Yeah.
It's only when he attacks.
Yeah, it forces you to be a little more aggressive, so it's like training wheels for the Boros, right? Like.
Yeah, and he's decent against any like big guys that are in the way of that battalion. Like he solves some of the blocking issues.
Yeah, this guy's fine, but he's like the last creature you put in because it's a 1/4 for 3. Like there's plenty of like 2/2s for 2 or 2/1s for 2 that are much more aggressive.
Yeah.
And lower on the curve, and that's where you want to be.
So Loyev Decree, is that how you would say that?
Yeah, Liev.
Yeah.
It detains 2 things, which is like twice as good as the last 2-drop guy that detains something
But this
in
is
return.
this is just a spell though.
Right, but it's not. It doesn't attack. So I like this a lot less than the creatures that can do the same thing, but also kill you.
There's the bear that Ozorius has that is the same exact mana cost that detains one guy. I think it's a 2/1, but it seems
Yeah, is that in this set or
no original?
Yeah.
Or
Arrestor.
Return to Ravnica. Yeah.
Ozorius Arrestor. Yeah, it's this card but better.
I don't think he makes the cut. It's just there's much better cards in the Detain.
Yeah, it's a trap card. Like, don't take this if you really want to go into like Ozorius Detain. Like, you want to be attacking.
Next up is the Amaze Sentinel. This is the first in the cycle of the Sentinels, where there's one for each monocolor that give multicolored some effect. The effects are always core to the belief of that color.
Right.
So this guy has Vigilance. He gives your multicolored Vigilance.
He's okay. I don't remember what all the other ones do, but this guy's pretty low tier, I think.
Yeah, the other ones are like, black is Death Touch, blue is Flying, red is Haste. What am I missing? Green is Trample.
So green and red are the best.
Yeah. I actually like the black too.
Yeah,
because it's a 4/5 as well. That one.
Yeah.
3/5, something like that.
Yeah.
So this is my least favorite of those, but
yeah,
he's a 6-drop. There's much better 6-drops that common that you can run in your deck.
To me, white in this set is really aggressive, and him being a 3/6 isn't that aggressive.
So this is actually an interesting card. So renounce the guilds. It's like a white Diabolic Edict kind of.
Yeah,
cooler.
A little bit more, but a little less.
Yeah, at the same time because it's symmetrical.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Like the fact that you can kill planeswalkers and crazy things like that with this is awesome.
Well, only certain planeswalkers though, because it's multicolored.
Right.
So it's not like
it doesn't kill Jace and Tameo, right? But like all like the more relevant ones coming out, like Ral and all the other ones that we can't name right now.
Well, I mean, you have
Vraska,
and you have what the heck's this stupid guy? That's the 3-mana one.
Domri.
Yeah, Domri.
Domri. Yeah.
So like that's not bad. But like he kills like a lot of good creatures. This card kills a lot of creatures though. Like
Loxodon, Smiter, Dice Saint Traft. Yeah, this card's pretty sweet, but it might be too narrow.
It seems like it could find a home in a Snapcaster based deck because it's like pretty sweet to like renounce, snapcaster, renounce. Like
Right.
a lot of your cards in those decks are monocolored, so you like Restoration Angel, snapcaster, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think it has potential.
Riot Control is next. I don't really like it. It's a fog effect.
I actually really like this fog effect.
Gain of life.
Like it's like that Sphinx's Revelation where like it puts you further ahead and stabilizes the board for you. So like this doesn't really push you further ahead, but like it's two things that you want on this kind of effect. Like in a turbo fog deck, like gaining a little bit of life as well as fogging on the turn is like huge.
Yeah, but it's better than fog though. Like
no, but like fog, it's like weird turbo fog decks want 8 or 12 fogs.
Yeah, but like I even think Clean Mist is better than this because like Clean Mist like locks down their guys that they can't untap if you have Fateful Hour.
Yeah. Oh, I think the one light's pretty sweet. It's an effect on something like this that I like.
Next up, Scion of Vitu-Ghazi.
Yep. Oh, what does this one do?
You get a bird, I believe, and then populate.
A 1/1 bird, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like this guy. Like, it seems like really Titan-y to me. Like, or it could have been a 2/2 bird and then populate, but then it might have been too strong. So like they toned it down.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
it's 5 mana.
you're getting 5 power for 5 mana. Or
Right.
6 power for 5 mana, technically, to
Right.
populate the bird.
Yeah, so it could have been like 7 power, and that might have been like made it playable.
Yeah.
Or had an effect like Vigilance or something.
I mean, if you're in like a token strategy, it might not be bad if you're like populating the worm, like Flash Worm.
I guess that's a thing, yeah. We'll get there. Yeah, I mean, I think the populate mechanic's just like so narrow. Like the guy doesn't really do anything on itself, and you're playing 5 drops, so like the game's like pretty developed if you're like getting to this point, and your 1/1 birds really aren't going to be like bringing it home.
And the fact that he's a 4/4 like isn't as good because if he was a 4/5, all of a sudden he's very good because he blocks like Luxing Smiter. He doesn't die to Mizium Mortars.
Right. The fact that a 3 drop is just as big as a 5 drop is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up we have Steeple Rock. At first I didn't really like this guy, but then I ended up playing a couple at the pre-release, and I was more happy with him.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about paying 5 mana for a 3/1 flyer, but the first strike makes him I think, playable.
The thing that I've like personally learned in limited formats is first strike is a premium.
It
So
is.
like you should be able to pay a little bit more for it because the effect is going to be so good for you that like it's worth the 2 mana in a lot of situations.
Yeah, I mean he won't win the battles against any ground guys, but in all the air guys, like he pretty much beats. Like there are a lot of 2/2s and 2/3s and 1/3s, and so he wins most of those fights, which is good.
Yeah.
And then in any deck with white, and then if you're white red or white blue, you have additional ways to protect him.
Yeah.
So he's a good clock. Next up, we have the first of the Gatekeeper cycles.
Yes.
Sunspire.
Start with the white one where you get a 2/2 knight with vigilance if you have 2 or more gates.
2 or more gates.
They're not all 2 or more gates. Just this one. Well, I don't know if there's more, but this one is 2 or more gates.
I think they're all 2.
I don't think the blue one's 2.
No? We'll see.
We'll get there. But I really like this guy. I played him yesterday at the pre-release. I had like multiple copies in my deck. He was a great board staller, and he's like very aggressive. Like you do get 4 power if you have the 2 gates, which is very easy to do in this limited format.
Yeah, I generally recommend him or any of the Gatekeepers if you have 4 or more gates in your deck.
Mhm.
Like 3 feels a little bit too low.
Yeah,
I had 3. And
4
I
is
had
like the line.
4 is like really okay. You're gonna turn them on most times in most games.
And he was like really awesome. The problem that I had is like I really want to play him because I want to get him out there, but at the same time, if I like hold it and draw a gate, I get a lot more value out of it.
Yeah.
And like you can really like punish a draw. And he's like a 2/4, so he like blocks lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the dedicated populate card, Wake the Reflections.
Hate it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean,
I hate it.
There's plenty of other populate cards that
Do
additional things like fog or make a bunch of guys or like this. It just doesn't feel good. Like even the fact that it's sorcery is worse. Like
Yeah, this
if it
needed
was-
to be an instant
if
to
it
be
was-
considered.
yeah, because then that'd be cool. You could like hold up and like populate when somebody attacks you, like surprise block.
Right, and I mean,
Yeah.
I think they might be afraid of like populating 5/5 worm tokens
Yeah.
at like instant speed, but I think that's fine because the populate mechanic, like honestly, is by far the worst one. Well, except for Cypher,
Yeah,
it's like really poor. So like it could use like a little tool that's a little like above the curve,
right.
and I mean, wasn't going to make it broken or anything. So I think
No, I
it should have
think
been an instant.
Yeah, that was a miss, I think. Unfortunately. So first of the blue cards, we have Etherling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up in the air on this a little bit still, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think this is a card that gets much better after rotation. I think right now he's too slow. Could be a top end of a control deck because he does do everything. Like once he's in play, he seems unstoppable beast. But
yeah. The fact if you have to leave mana open, so this is really like a 7-drop.
right. Yeah. You can't just tap out from 6.
But the fact that you can like you said yesterday, you can like blink him and then verdict and then keep your dude is like pretty relevant.
Yeah, and he turns into a real big clock real fast because then you just like put mana into him, hitting for like 6, 7.
So far, this like Ling cycle has been like hit and miss.
Yeah. The whole like Morphling variants have been.
Yeah, Morphling was great. I really liked Thornling, but Torchling
was awful.
Was awful.
Yeah.
So gotta wait to see what happens to this one, but I'd keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I agree. So next up we have like one of the best Cypher cards.
Probably the best.
Yeah, Hidden Strings. He finally gave us a cheap one, which is what we've been waiting for.
And unfortunately, I still don't think it's playable.
It's okay.
It's okay, but like, why would you just kill the thing that you're like tapping like all over the place? You know?
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, it doesn't have like those colors. Like, blue doesn't have a ton of like straight removal, so it is like.
Right, but like black is also like Cypher.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the black cards to support, yeah, you're probably gonna go that way.
I'm just saying, like, if you want an effect that like takes something out of like a turn or a combat or something, like just play colors that kills it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I like this on like value creatures because you can give all your guys like a pseudo vigilance effect, like attack, untap them.
Right.
You can give it to a guy that has like a tap ability. You can like attack, untap that guy, then you have him up for tap ability.
Yeah, I also like it with things like if I had to like put it somewhere, like things like Master of Cruelties, where like they have like giant effects when they hit you, or if they're like unblocked or something. So like you force that like crazy effect through.
Yeah. So here's the blue
Maze.
Maze
X.
glider. So again, the 3/5 for 6 flying. Your multicolored guys go flying.
I think these guys are all too small, except for the red one. They're all too small. Like 3 power is like it could have been more. It could have been 4.
I mean, flying's pretty good though. Like
it is.
Like I feel like you can play him and then like Alpha Strike pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of multicolored guys.
I guess the blue one's okay. I don't know. I feel like there's better ways to spend your mana.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they're a little more playable in the Dragon's Maze sealed because the format's a little slower. Like I feel like because everybody's trying to do like a multicolored thing with all the mana fixing, it gives you a few extra turns.
Right.
Than like the dedicated like Burrow strategies from Gatecrash were like really aggressive, like super low curve, and you're just dead.
Right. Also, this is like your splash color guy, right? Because if you're like dedicated blue, like most of your stuff's gonna have flying anyway.
Yeah.
So like this is your splash guy. Like you're splashing blue in your Rakdos deck, and suddenly like all your like spawn of Rix Mighties or whatever fly. Like, ugh.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So next up we have the new Mana Leak, I guess. No.
4 mana is a lot.
Yeah, 4 mana is
too much.
If you're paying 4 mana for your counter spells, you want hard counter.
Like just play Rewind.
Yeah, we have Rewind, and then we had Cryptic Command before. Like, this looks silly compared to those.
Yeah,
guys.
not that I think anyone will ever have 6 mana open.
No, yeah, it's a pretty much a hard counter, but like, just in case.
The fact that it's 1 blue is something to consider, but
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't.
It's okay. I do like the artwork though. I like the colors. So we have a wall. Very unexciting.
Murmuring Phantasm. How much does it cost?
2.
2.05. It's fine.
He's probably good in the Denier strategy. Like if you're in like a hardcore Denier, you just want to buy time.
Yeah, he's like the Lazav flavor text. It's like secretly a Denier card.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's the blue Gatekeeper. Blake Gatekeepers.
Yeah, this guy is 2 more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they had like the whole cycle thing was like identical text.
Alright.
So this one I don't think it has like it's a draw card, but the other ones seem like they do more.
Yeah, this is your the Tour Gates thing is like too much for a Silver Guild Adept. You know, like where the other ones it's like, all right, I get like 2 guys out of that, sure. Like that's like considerable, but drawing a card is like it's a bit much, and it's kind of like slow. Like drawing a card doesn't really do crazy a lot of things in limited generally.
When you compare them to the red one, especially, it's
laughable. The red one's pretty good.
Free threaten effect.
Yeah, the red one's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So next up is Runner's Bane.
I like this card.
I like it against certain strategies. I would try my best not to have this in my main deck. I would have it in the sideboard of my limited deck because it just gets really laughable in any deck with green because you have guys that plenty of spells that pump like Giant Growth and all like the white pump spells because you can just make your guy bigger. This falls off and then you hit them
Right.
You know what I mean? End of turn, pump your guy. Yeah, it's a waste of a pump spell, but it removes this removal, untap, hit them.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned that you should just play creatures instead of like janky removal like this, pseudo removal. Just play more creatures because
just play blockers.
Then you can just block or favorably block, get something killed, and then it's that's permanent removal.
Right. It's playable, but there's much better removal.
Yeah.
All right, so another Cypher card. Cheapest one ever.
Trait Doctoring. This is the third or fourth kind of card where it's got weird replace word with X word.
They've done this a ton of times, yeah.
Yeah. This is one color. Yeah. I don't really care for it. Maybe some crazy EDH card or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it has implications in older weird formats where you can create these bizarre combos, but it's so bad that it's not going to be any
cards that do something like this have already existed.
Yeah,
and they don't see any play anywhere as far as I know. So adding another one isn't going to break it. Super Auger Bullets.
I don't hate this card. I mean, I don't like it in limited because it's not going to hit very often.
Yeah, this is a potential constructed card. They tried.
Yeah, it's still Auger better.
Yeah,
it's 1 mana cheaper, and you have a guy to block. But
it's cool. It looks at 4 cards, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's a sorcery. It's got pulling it back. It's really bad. Because you can play Forbidden Alchemy, get any card,
and you see an extra card.
And it's got flashback.
Yeah.
This card's extremely overshadowed right now, but as maybe in the future.
Next up, we have the obligatory Windrake, which we've seen plenty of times.
All right. How much does he cost this time around?
3 mana.
3. All right. There you go, Windrake.
He's fine. He fits in your deck. He's got evasion, 2/2.
Yeah, he's definitely playable in a limited.
Yeah, I think he's
for sure. Yeah.
So we'll go to black. So we get the pretty boring 1/3 for 2.
Bane Alley Blackguard.
Yeah.
I think he's okay. He's just a dude you throw in the way. Maybe 1 or 2 attacks in, and then he chumps.
Yeah, he's playable, but you're not excited about him. He's okay. Yeah, I have to have a guy in my early
against some Boros decks though. In limited, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
he kills everything.
He blocks
very well. Yeah. Otherwise, not much.
Next up, one of the more interesting cards, at least in my opinion. It's definitely not Dark Confidant, but
it's definitely not. It's their homage to Dark Confidant.
Yeah, it's their it's homage back to Return of Ravnica.
Almost.
But, same mana cost, same power and toughness, but effect not nearly as good.
Yeah.
Granted, if you have some kind of, way to abuse them, maybe, but you have to, where Dark Confidence is, good all the time.
Yeah, this is,
this
good
is good,
when
but you have to also build around them.
Right.
To make them really good.
I don't know. If I'm, looking at Dark Confidant variants, I still like Dismantle Seer better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because he actually, helps you kill your opponent. I mean,
yeah.
And this guy's, he works once, and then you have to wait a turn for him to work again.
Right.
Unless you play those cards.
Yeah.
It's tough. But it is a zombie, so zombies could consider it.
That's actually not bad. Yeah, right. Because they do empty their hand pretty quickly.
Although I don't know why zombie players care about zombie-oriented 2-drops, because there's no zombie tribal thing.
No, but they don't really have too many 2-drops, so he's decent. He fills their curve decently.
Yeah.
So another graveyard hater card. 3 mana one this time.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's 3 mana, and I think it's too much.
I do like that just everything at once, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can just get all their graveyard for free with a Tormund script.
Yeah, there's plenty of better stuff, even the enchantment-based stuff just shuts out the graveyard.
Yeah.
Rest in Peace and Ground Seal.
Right, so I think that completely overshadows this card.
Yeah, and even older formats, if you want the same effect, usually Fairy Macabre is good enough. We can just
older formats, this card's nowhere.
Yeah.
This is so below anything other that you can have.
Extirpate and
Extraction. Macabre's 3 mana, but it's free.
It's free and uncounterable.
Yeah, way different.
So Fatal Fumes, a little bit of removal. It's okay. It's definitely not premier removal in black. They have much better removal
Yeah,
in this format.
it's something you don't put in your limited deck, but if you like actually see the deck like game one and they've got a lot of X2s or like one of the bombs is like an X2 or something like that, like you can bring the sideboard this side.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
yeah, or even like a 4/4, it's decent because then it will trade with your 2/2.
Right.
You know, or 2/3.
Yeah.
So hired torturer. What do you think of this guy, defender?
How big is he?
2/3.
I don't really care for him. His effect's like okay.
Yeah, the fact that it's like 4 mana to use his effect is kind of.
The thing is, like, the format's not slow enough where, like, mana sink creatures like this are relevant.
Yeah, you want to be, like, using your mana every turn proactively, not sitting with this guy in play.
Right, so, yeah.
So lame, pretty much.
Yeah,
So next up we have another one of the Maze guys. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, you like this guy.
I do. So same mana cost, but you get an additional power versus the other 2 guys.
So far, yeah.
And then
4/5.
he's got Death Touch, and all the other guys, multicolored, get Death Touch.
Yeah.
So now, like combat is very bad for your opponent. Like they have to at least trade.
It's true. What I do like is that it turns out you're tiny, like somewhat useless creatures into like actual
Very big threats. Like you can either get in there for free damage because they don't want to block,
right,
or
you
you
play
just hang back and you block their 7/5.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely number 3, I think.
Okay.
Out of the 5, I still think green and red are better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another rare Pontiff of Blight.
I really like the
Zombie.
idea on this guy.
I like the idea. Don't love the power and toughness. I mean, it's 7 for a black creature is very rare, but like 2/7. That's such a weird power and toughness.
He could have been a little fatter in terms of power, and the fact that he's everything else extort is like it plays really nice with Cryptcast though.
Yeah,
because like you both ramp into this guy and you'll have the mana to actually use all those extorts that you now have access to.
Right. I mean, if I'm gonna be ramping in black, why don't I just cast Grizzle Rend?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's tough, and also this guy like doesn't really affect the field at all. Like you probably have to tap out to play him, and then you put him, and then like he's not a threat at all himself. No. He's like just a 2/7.
Yeah, he sits there and blocks. And
no one's really afraid of a 2/7. Not in the last like 10 years at least.
So we had Rakdos Drake. I actually really like this guy quite a bit.
I like him, but I was a little underwhelmed by him.
Were you?
Yeah, because I mean, there's only 2/3 up in the air. Like,
yeah, but that like Rakdos doesn't have evasion. That's kind of the thing. Like,
I know, but their guys are generally like bigger.
Their ground guys are definitely bigger. Yeah, I mean, you're paying 2 mana for 3/2s and stuff.
I mean, it's fine, but I think it's like one of the worst Rakdos Unleashed guys.
Okay.
I would, if you could not play him, I would not play him. And if we're talking like, because like the Dragon's Maze is not a solo set. Like you're drafting it with the other sets. So when you're talking about limited, you're talking about also Gate Crash and Return. And like Splatter Thug is way better than this guy. Yeah. So like when I have 3 drops, I don't want to be playing this guy if I can help it.
I was very happy with him in my Simic deck because of the like Bread for the Hunt combo that I had going with like anytime a guy with a counter hits you, you draw a card.
Yeah, that plays kind of nice.
He was like really sweet there.
Yeah, that plays nice. Next up, we have Sinister Possession. I think it's cool. I mean, it's very stab wound-esque.
But not even close to being good.
But not even close.
Yeah. Because this has to like turn on. Like they have to attack or block. Or like stab wound is just every turn.
Right.
Every turn you get 2.
But this is 1 mana. I mean, it's okay. But again, you don't really play something like this in your deck.
Yeah, I think it's a waste of a card. Like, don't even play it.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right. So here's the black Gatekeeper.
See. 4 for 4.
Yeah, all two 4s. Ubulsar, I guess.
Ubulsar Gatekeepers?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So he's a zombie soldier. I like this one.
I like this one too.
A lot.
Yeah.
So you get a free -2/-2 on target creature.
Right.
When you have 2 gates.
It's all like the white one where like you get 2 dudes, but this one like you get your dude and kill their dude, so it's still like a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Hopefully a 2 for 1.
So I like him. Again, I'd say 4 gates minimum to make him good. Yeah, so that'll wrap it up for the first of the monocolored cards. Stay tuned for our next video. Coming tomorrow.
We'll do the rest of the monocolor cards.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.